Hey guys, um, our support did a great video talking about why are former Trumpers leaving the party, leaving the Trump party, and he had some comments from people who gave experience with their own family and friends leaving the party. Um, One of them was basically they were all keep it simple. They were all based upon the fact that Trump went too far. Republican Party breaks the rules. I think one of them was saying he tried to vote and they done something to make it hard for him to vote and things like that. And I remember thinking to myself, that that's not something to celebrate. That you're basically mad at Trump because you're mad at the Republican Party because they have no moral moorings at all, no moral integrity at all. Whatever Trump wants is what he gets. That they are willing to put forth any lie possible that Trump puts forward, and that Republican Party is breaking the rules, twisting the rules they've been doing for before Trump. Like that's not enough. Like that's not enough to me. Like you should be upset about him wasting 2 years, wasting 2 months on COVID, really doing nothing. There were companies that wanted to make masks, and he was talking about he wanted to wear it because it's like a diaper or like a brief or something. You know, um, other things that he did that starting a trade war with Europe. Now Harley Davidson's in trouble because of his tariffs. The myriad things he did under the summer of rage, the summer of racial revangism, and the summer of the concern of Black lives. That period of time, he engaged in a reckless attempt to maintain power. And I think that his response to George Floyd, his response to everything going on at that time, was really out of touch with reality. Even as a person that doesn't like him, even as like the things I already knew about him, I have to say that it really put him out of touch with reality. Not just that I don't agree with it. It's just like, man, like, do you know any black people under the age of 50? Do you like, I just think that I think him and Bill Barr came out and said something about race at the like late into it, and it was too late. I say this to say that we should be irritated about Trump and the stuff he did, and the fact that the Republican Party didn't see a problem with it, defended it, and even covered for him, and putting forward lies and half truths, dealing with the election, dealing with Black lives, dealing with all this stuff. Because if all you're concerned about as a Republican voter is the Republican Party, doing things that we can see are illegitimate or wrong, then you what you're in essence saying there is that if Trump had used better language, if Trump had wore the mask, just on stage a couple times, or if he said, "Hey guys, wear the mask, please." If Trump hadn't, and he shouldn't have done this, him making the email about liberate those states. If Trump hadn't, done things that hurt rednecks and agricultural people, specifically. If he hadn't done those things, and you'd be all for him. You're mad at Trump because his fascist, bigoted political movement in the end failed you. You're mad at him like the Nazis were after Stalingrad, or was it Hitler? You're mad that like, okay, Hitler was listening to the generals, and Hitler should have done this, and Hitler wanted Paulus to basically die. That's why he made him field marshal on that, like the last days of it, because he was like, in history there had never been a German field marshal that was surrendered ever. And that's why he called it Fortress Stalingrad, Fortress, East, because they were meant to die. They weren't meant to be evacuated. You were meant to die. Not somehow at the last minute they save you. And that's how I feel about those people who don't like Trump or leaving the Republican Party. You're leaving the Republican Party because what you wanted didn't happen. And also, it's kind of not popular, but the point is, what you wanted failed. But if it hadn't failed, and if Trump hadn't been so pig-headed in the way in which he did things, you would be voting for him. You'd be first in line to vote for him. I'm not asking for belief. I'm not asking for true believers in democratic socialism. I'm asking for people to recognize you're not a capitalist, work in a capitalist system, and that some of these things these people do hurt you. You should be aware of it. You should hold folks accountable when they do this kind of stuff. You know, the Republicans that use their spots on the intelligence committees to push stocks, move the money around. I don't hear Republicans talking about that. What's about ethics? You use your government position to protect your money. You know, they made a big deal. I remember back in 2008 about Miss Waters. I think her husband owns a bank or runs a bank, and he got some money. Republicans made a big deal about that back then. Maxine Waters in California. They made a big deal about that. Why aren't you mad about people on intelligence committees using their positions before a pandemic to protect themselves, their own private monies? Republican Party is basically a toilet bowl. This isn't about Trump making some dumb tweets. This isn't about some homophobic or anti-Semitic comments. This is about a number of people within the administration who, to me, orchestrated really a criminal conspiracy and acted in criminal negligence to deny climate change, deny COVID, to deny the reality of the times, and do nothing about them, and then to talk about changing the weather maps to say Alabama's going to get hit by a storm when it wasn't. He knew that. Other things. He used the government in an illegitimate way. It was a criminal enterprise. Period. In my mind, it wasn't about some comments. It wasn't about some racist stuff. It was about recklessness. Thanks for listening.